Hey, good morning, friends. Greetings from the Space Coast of Florida, beautiful Brevard County, area code 321. I am sitting out here on my patio on this chilly Tuesday morning, 55-ish degrees outside. I've got my warm cup of coffee to keep my insides warm. I got on my Saints jacket to keep my outside warm. My who dat beat them Tampa Bay Bucks twice. Who dat. I love rubbing that in Tampa Bay's face. When you get beat by the Saints, you deserve to be laughed at. You deserve to wear a brown bag over your head, baby. All right. So I want to continue with microchurches. This is something that is very dear to me. I see the potential in it. I see what it can accomplish. I understand that it's a powerful tool. And I believe that we're living in a day and an hour where it is an exceptional opportunity to grow the kingdom of God. But sadly, most churches are not going to latch onto this thing because there is concern about somebody going off into their living room and starting their own church. The thing about microchurches is there is no hierarchy. There is no hierarchy. Well, who makes all the decisions, or who calls the shots? You know, I'm sure you have heard of churches or been part of churches. I know I've been part of churches, a couple churches where all the power, all the control, all the influence rested on one man. Self-proclaimed Moses. I am the leadership. Worship me. Now, that is not how the early church operated. And if you're part of a church where one guy is the leadership, where one guy calls all the shots, where one guy makes all the decisions, where one guy does not consult with anyone or seek the advice of anyone other than himself and his great gift of discernment, run, because you're this close to being in a cult. You don't have that in a microchurch because there is no hierarchy. Well, what do you do about the where it says that he gave some apostles and prophets and pastors and teachers and evangelists? What do you do with that? These are gifts. They're not offices. Now, we've been taught that they were offices, but these are gifts that the Lord has given to a church, that he has given to a man or a woman. These are gifts that the Lord has put into the church for a specific reason. And these gifts function as roles. So someone may have the gift of teaching. That's a role they fulfill. That's not an office. Someone may have the gift of being a pastor. That is a role they finish. It is not a office. It is not part of a hierarchy. It is a role that they fulfill to the edification of the body. Now, I know this does not set well with denominational Christianity because there's got to be some guy that feels he needs to be the big kahuna, that he needs the what is it, the big kahuna, the grand poobah of the lodge of the water buffalo. So he's got to, anytime that you're in a situation where one person has all that concentrated power, that is a bad situation to be in. That is a horrible place to be in. And you have to ask yourself, is this really what I want to be a part of? Because if the body is not learning from one another and using its gifts to build one another up, what are we doing? What are we doing? All right? So there is no hierarchy in a microchurch or house church setting. This is a group of people that come together. They use their gifts together. They use their talents together. They plot the direction and the course together. This is how the early church did it. This is why Paul went to these various house churches and established elders, people that would help to guide the church, not run the church. The church needs guidance in this day. We are living in a time where the median church size, this is some statistics I read this morning, is 65. This is probably half of what it was 20 to 25 years ago. 65. People are not wandering into churches anymore. They're not just walking by and decide, hey, let's try that church today. It doesn't happen like that. There are people out there who are suffering from genuine church trauma. They've been hurt by the church. There are people out there that want an authentic expression of faith. They want an authentic relationship with Jesus. They want something more in line with what the Bible teaches church should be than the paradigm that they're seeing across this country. There has to be an alternative. And I think that we do ourselves a disservice when we try to run the church in the paradigm that we see around us. It's time that we get back to our ancient roots, establish churches in unconventional places where people come together with a genuine love for Jesus to reach our friends, our families, our co-workers, our neighbors with the gospel, to have group settings in a home around a table and make disciples. And when that group gets to a certain point, you multiply it and start another group. You just don't build a bigger auditorium. You start more opportunities around your community. All right? This is why I am just enthralled with Microchurch right now, because it is an authentic expression of the early church. Yeah, you can still be anchored in a traditional church setting somewhere, but real ministry takes place in somebody's house. Real ministry takes place outside of the church. Real ministry can take place on a park bench or in a kava bar or at a meeting hall or in a restaurant or a cafe. Real ministry can take place on a pickleball court. We have limited ourselves to believing that church only happens in a church building, and we are missing opportunities to spread the gospel. I challenge you, look into microchurches. And if you're looking for an authentic expression of church, if you're here in the Brevard County area, and you want to experience an authentic expression of faith, reach out to me. I can put you in contact with some groups here in this area, the Space Coast House Churches. There's also the Waytable Microchurch Network. There are several other house groups meeting all throughout Brevard County that would love to include you around their table, to build you up, not tear you down, to strengthen you and encourage you. So reach out to me. I'll be happy to share this information with you. Reach out to me. I'll call you. We'll discuss this. We'll grow together. And if you're in other parts of the country, say if you're here on the west coast of Florida, there's the Tampa Underground that you can get in touch with. Over 100 microchurches in that network. There's the Dwellings in Arkansas, hundreds of churches in that network. The Kansas City Underground in Kansas City that have hundreds of groups that meet. This is just a fragment. There's the Way up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. There is the Heart House Church in Chicago. There are options around this country to help you find a genuine expression of Jesus. There are communities of faith looking to help you along your way to do what Jesus called us to do, to go into all the world, preach the gospel to every creature, and make disciples, baptizing them. This is what the Lord has called us to do. Well, God bless you. I look forward to hearing from you. You have an awesome Tuesday, folks. And who dat? Going to beat them Bucks again. Who dat?